Good evening, Fernwood. It is your elderly person, 1976, Neil, and it's time for us to ring in the baby new year with another episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Today we are watching episode 195 from December 31st, 1976. It is New Year's Eve, probably like 11 o'clock or something, so real close to New Year's. I don't know if we're going to see any New Year's content in this episode based on the things we saw yesterday, but let's see. Let's find out. Yesterday started with Loretta and Charlie getting ready for Loretta to take her trip to Dayton to the recording studio. Charlie has to stay home just in case this is not the break for Loretta, though he is sure that she is still going to be a superstar. The Fernwood Skyrider stops by after the last few days and leaves the greeting that foreplay is fair play. Loretta and Charlie thinks that's reasonable, though they do have to look up the word foreplay in the dictionary. Of course, they realize that's something they do all the time anyway. And as Charlie leaves to get Loretta's bus ticket, they share a final embrace. Martha is troubling herself with the task of making a turkey salad sandwich with no turkey in it because George is now vegetarian. She and Raymond are greeted by a mysterious puff of smoke that obscures the entrance of Montgomery Monk, the deprogrammer. Montgomery Monk confuses Raymond for George, and Raymond instantly identifies Montgomery as a quack. Then George chants around the living room, which puts Martha into a tizzy. And of course, Montgomery Monk is quite familiar with the Bocazzini and has a plan to deprogram George. And we see that Martha is just at her wit's end. Over at the Gimbel's household, Patty bandages her wrist as she recovers from her latest beating. Garth is angry that she called the police on him the last episode. He goes into the other room as Pat receives a visit from Mary, who asks how things are for Pat, and Pat says that things are great. Mary offers her this issue of Ms. Magazine, which features a story on the cover about battered wives. Patty recognizes something about herself in them, but doesn't say anything except that things are perfect in their home. Patty even justifies the anger that Garth might actually feel. Mary sidles up to Pat and asks her to say point blank what has been going on, and Pat admits that Garth hits her, though she downplays it a little bit. And Mary asks why Pat stays, and Pat says that she loves Garth. Mary offers to let Pat and Philip stay at the Hartman residence, and Pat is put off by the implication that things are not safe in her home. Mary gives a little breathing room and suggests that the next time that Garth hits her, that Patty should bite him. As she leaves, Garth re-enters, and things re-escalate, with Patty tearing Garth's favorite shirt and then slapping him, leaving him in utter disbelief. And we close at the bus station with Loretta doing her best to mind her own business as she waits for her bus to Dayton. She's approached by a skeezy man named Jake Walters who will not take no for an answer. As she gets up to get her bus, he grabs onto her and a passerby tries to intervene, though gets knocked out, and Loretta is stunned during the fight. Jake pulls her up somewhat groggily and then leads her out and says that they're going to take a ride, and Loretta's luggage remains in the bus station. And that's where we ended yesterday's episode, everyone. Let's see what New Year's Eve has in store for us.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman! Where are we?
Honey, this is a hospital, and we're going to get you a painkiller for that banged-up head of yours.
What's wrong with my head? Why is it killing me like this?
Nothing, honey. It just got in the way of a flying chair, that's all.
Chair?
Take! Come on. Look at here. Boy, you missed one hell of a fight. You almost killed a guy, and this here's a prize.
I know we was in a fight.
Oh. This broad's head is really messed up.
You're right. Lou, give me a beer.
Yeah.
Well, you should have been there. I broke a nose. I laid one dude out cold. Left one on his knees screaming for Jesus.
Can I get you anything, honey?
Hey, sit over here.
Skip it. Woman like that won't come when a man calls.
You have a rough night, lady?
I don't know.
What's your name?
I don't remember my name.
Oh. Did you hear that? Man, sluts is all alike. Just love teasing a man. You see that? She heard that, but she wouldn't turn around. Gotta remember one thing, sluts is cagey. She ain't never gonna lose that slut look no matter how hard she tries. Because there's always gonna be a little too much rouge on the cheeks and a little too much mascara in the eyes. There's always gonna be a little too much of everything. Now, why do you think she wears so much lipstick? It's because she knows that by the end of the night, she's gonna be kissing so many men and she's gonna need that much so it'll last. Man, I'm gonna tell you something. You put a diamond on a slut and it'll turn to rhinestone. She's got cash registers in her eyes that keep lighting up, sale, sale. Every man that she ever slept with has left his mark on her face. Now you look at that slash on her face, how do you think that got there? Well, her new lover come home, found her in bed with another man, and took his fine leather belt to her face, but it didn't work. Because you can't never beat the slut out of a slut. It's like a disease, man. There ain't no cure for it, except men, and lots of them.
Tex, why don't you give the girl a break? It ain't her fault the way she is.
Jesus. Man, if you believe that, you believe anything. I'm going to tell you something. There's only two ways for a woman in this life. Either an honest wife or a low-lying slut. That bitch, I could make her right here and now, and she'd let me. You know why? 'Cause she can't say no. Ain't that the truth, sweetheart? That'll get you hot, won't it? I mean, won't that make you feel all hot inside?
That's enough, Tex. Now you knock it off.
Don't pay no attention to him, ma'am. He's just drunk.
Is that what I am? Slut?
Honey, this is a free country. Whoever you are or whatever you did, don't make no difference to me. You're welcome here.
But am I a slut?
Hell, honey, seems all right to me. You know, I could tell about people. And you're all right. Look, what difference does it make what they say you are?
Hey there. What's your name? I never did hear it.
I don't know.
Hey, come on now. Thought we were gonna be friends.
Lou.
You're Lou, too? Hey, that's my name.
Lou. Lou.
Lulu? Lulu. Max Slattery, meet Lulu.
Mighty pleased to meet you.
You're welcome here, Lulu. You feel any better now?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better.
Good.
Maybe I ought to, freshen up just a little bit. I find my purse and must have lost it or something. Man, could I just borrow a smidgen of your lipstick, please? Thank you.
Okay, you boys, you better be moving on.
Where's my date?
I'll get her to where she's going. You're in no shape to take her anywhere. Now, you get out of here.
Come on, one more for the road, Luke.
Look, you get the hell out of here now, Tex. Come on. Now, take him with you.
Hey, you relax.
Okay, get him.
Just take it. All right, wait a minute, Jake. Wait a minute. We don't need this place. Come on. Ain't nothing but a bunch of weirdos. Here, come on. Whoa. Here we go. Further.
Thinking slobs. You rotten bums. You want a beer, Mac?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about 2 of them, dollface? Here, hon, thanks for the use of your stuff. Oh, what you guys staring at? I'd like a beer, darling.
Remember, I'll take you anywhere in the whole wide world right now.
Well, thank you a lot, hon, but I'll tell you something. The night is young, and Miss Lulu here is ready to howl.
Oh, and everything smells so good.
Really? Does it to you? It all smells like sour cream to me.
It's very sensual.
Sensual? You think sour cream is sensual?
Yeah.
You don't mean it turns you on, do you? You know, Wanda, in many countries, sour cream is considered to be a very unsanitary food. In fact, it is almost famous for spoiling easily.
You mean it's dirty?
Well, I don't mean dirty. You know, I mean sexy dirty.
Oh, Mary, come on. You don't actually think sex is dirty, do you?
No, I don't. Sometimes I think it's disgusting, but that's natural, isn't it? I mean, love can be dirty, but sex is X-rated. Love is restricted. That's an R. But my feeling about it is that sex or love, done in the privacy of one's home, where the children can't watch, is beautiful. It can be absolutely beautiful most of the time, or some of the time.
Well, according to your friend May Olinsky, it can be beautiful all the time.
Yeah, well, I guess, if you have the right amount of, up front.
No, foreplay.
Oh, Wanda, please don't say that. I can't take that word.
Oh, well, all it means is the attention to a woman's special needs.
Sex was much simpler when I didn't know I was supposed to like it.
Yeah, that's true. Everything's so complicated now. But anyway, I can't tell you how I enjoyed filling out that questionnaire.
Oh, did you fill out everything?
Oh, everything. Mary, it put me in touch with areas of myself that, I've just never had the courage to face or tap. For one thing,
I discovered coffee. It dulls the senses.
No, Mary, I even cried.
You cried during the questionnaire?
Yes, out of joy, just to know that there were other women out there who were speaking out for what they feel and think. Well, we're not just sitting around waiting for men to tell us anymore. We're women speaking out to other women, communicating and sharing ourselves. It was so relieving.
That's funny. I don't see it that way. But I did find it very interesting to have to sit down and just think about things with myself. It was sort of like a daydream.
Mary, do you?
Do what?
Well, fantasize.
Oh, well, as a child. The other day, I thought of having lunch with Bill Cullen, and I don't honestly think it was only to get on a show.
Mary, there you go again. You're skirting the issues and talking in riddles. Well, that's very chauvinistic.
Wanda, I've always admitted I love my country.
Mary, don't you see you're beating around the bush again? Now is the time to be frank and open and honest. Now, look, we've always shared a lot. Why can't we share our fantasies?
Okay, you go first.
See, in all of my moments, I have never hit the heights or reached the top or seen the peak with a man.
Uh-huh.
Until last night.
Oh, Wanda. Oh. Oh, congratulations. Oh, Wanda. How do you feel? You don't look that different.
Oh, Mary, it was such ecstasy. It was this thrilling, sensational feeling. It was all sort of hot and tingly and delicious.
Wanda, did you tell Merle about the foreplay stuff? Or did he already know?
Oh, it didn't happen with Merle.
Oh, I think the coffee's ready.
No, it happened in a dream.
Oh, a dream?
Yeah.
Cream?
No.
A dream?
Well, a half dream.
Oh, a half dream? What is that? You mean a dream where it's just so good that you just so hold on tight, hoping that you won't wake up?
Exactly.
Is that what you mean?
Oh, Mary, I was feeling so shortchanged that, well, I decided to find that peak and climb that mountain myself.
Sugar.
And I did it, Mary. I did it all by myself.
More coffee?
No. And Mary, if I can do that for myself, I just know I can teach a man how to do it for me.
Oh, Wanda. We should have a real talk about all this someday. Pat! Oh, no! What happened?
Mary, I took your advice.
You did?
Uh-huh. When Garth hit me, I gave it to him.
So
How?
then what happened?
He tore up all my clothes, and he turned the hose on me, and he locked me out of the house.
Happy New Year, Ma.
Oh, Happy New Year to you, too,
Thanks,
Mary.
Ma.
Oh, isn't it wonderful that your daddy has come home just in time for New Year's?
Yeah.
He's out of his mind, of course, from that bogus Edie stuff that has brainwashed it. But I'm sure the deprogrammer will be able to put him back in his mind.
Isn't it wonderful what they can do with minds these days? Ma, do you remember what my mind used to be like?
What's going on in there? That is Mr. Monk, the deprogrammer, deprogramming George.
Is that safe, that beating?
Oh, yes, he's an expert.
Oh, well, an expert,
Yes, he has 25 lawsuits against him for deprogramming runaways.
Well, then that's very comforting.
He says that George's case is the hardest one he has ever had.
Really? Maybe that's because he's the oldest. The older one gets, Ma, the harder it is to rid them of bad habits. That's why I'm so worried about Tom.
No, it isn't that. You see, this bogus Edie group has made George so tranquil that Mr. Monk has to work really, really extra hard, to restore George to his normal, nervous, agitated self again.
Mom, maybe if you went in there it would help.
Oh, how do you do?
Oh, how do you do? Well, you are certainly in an interesting line of work.
It's an important job. And it's amazing how many people have been brainwashed into believing that the most important thing in life is peace of mind.
And that's wrong, peace of mind?
My dear lady, this great country of ours would never have become a great country if people like George Washington, Henry Ford, J. Pierpont Morgan hadn't wanted anything except peace of mind. We'd all be sitting around today doing nothing but being peaceful.
Happy New Year!
Hey.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Is everybody having as good a time as I am?
Great.
Oh, yeah.
Really,
Yeah, it's
really great.
just-
Oh,
Terrific.
good. Pat? I said Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Mary.
You want some punch?
Thanks, Mary, but I don't really feel like drinking.
Happy New Year.
Well, thank you, Mary. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
It would be a happier New Year if Loretta were here, but, well, you know, it's all right, though, because I got her picture and she's got mine, and at midnight we're going to kiss each other.
Oh, Charlie, be very careful of that. They use very strong and deadly chemicals to develop that stuff, so be careful, okay? Hi. You having a good time?
Sure, if your idea of a good time is being pregnant and worrying about what's going to become of you and always feeling like you're going to throw up.
You want a canopy? Kathy, please. Would you have one? Nobody else will have one. Please just have one, okay? Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Oh, by the way, Kathy, how do you think the party's going?
It stinks.
Yeah, just checking.
Oh.
Happy New Year.
Thank you, Mary. But at my age, it's safer wishing me a happy tomorrow. To wish me a whole year is pretty chancy.
Grandpa, when can we talk? I really want to talk to you.
What? I have trouble hearing at parties. I think I'll sit down just for the pleasure of it.
Well, how are you two lovebirds doing?
Just
Great,
fine,
really,
Mary.
great.
Really, just fine.
Just terrific.
Oh, good.
Really.
Well, I hope you're having as good a time as I am.
Oh,
I think so.
Happy, everyone.
Hi.
Oh, did someone give me a hand, Charlie? A little accident. Martha twisted her ankle.
Well, let's find out what's wrong. What'd she say?
Here we go.
Oh, she always does something like that.
Don't put any weight on it.
For 3 months now, I have been asking the city of Fernwood to fix that hole out there. Oh, who can have a happy new year when it's starting like this? Oh, and who knows if George will ever be the way he was. He's over there now beating himself against the wall. It's enough to get his brains all scrambled.
It's okay, Ma. It's okay. I want to wish you a happy New Year.
Thank you, Mary. Well, it's going to be a very happy New Year. A little sad, too, because, well, I've got to hop in my little trailer and go and visit my son for 2 weeks. So it's goodbye to Fernwood for a little while.
Oh, really? Oh, no, but you'll be coming back.
Well, I don't know. It just depends on how welcome my daughter-in-law makes me and my trailer.
Gee, Annie, we're gonna. That's terrible, Annie.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
And I'm going to miss all of you, too.
Hey, everybody, here, they're counting down.
Oh, here we go.
There
we go.
We're in New York City. It's almost New Year,
Right.
folks, so let's count it down together.
All right.
19,
18, 17, 16, 15.
You're just in time. Have you been drinking?
You think that's some way that you hear this?
Oh, it's going to be something bad. Oh, please don't make it be something bad. 2, 1. Happy New Year!
I've been fired.
So that's ringing out the old and ringing in the new. Wow. Loretta, well, she's safer than I thought she would be, but she gets harangued by a stranger at diner. Lou's. She doesn't know who she is. She's Lulu now. It starts with her getting harangued for being a slut. She's got a healthy sexual appetite. As far as I know, she's really only ever had sex with one man. As far as I know. I don't know if she had any sex before Charlie, but to be honest, I think Lou was right on the mark, right? That it doesn't matter what you've done. You should be welcome no matter what. We would call it slut-shaming today. But honestly, she was disheveled because Jake put her in a fight. I think that speech might have triggered something in her. That's not what I associate with her. Well, Lulu's a different person. So she's got perhaps dissociative identity disorder, or what would have been called back then multiple personalities. She is now Lulu, and she's ready to rock. And that's the direction that Loretta's life is taking now. And then Wanda and Mary, as Mary prepares for New Year's Eve, apparently sour cream on Ritz crackers is a treat. But this is the conversation about sexuality that this show has been building, and sexual pleasure. And in this case, Wanda, without masturbating, apparently was in a dream, perhaps a lucid dream. I don't know if that counts as masturbation, but has achieved peak experience, which was code for orgasm. And Mary's congratulatory, maybe jealous, although she never shows those kinds of feelings. And Wanda's thought is, oh, now that I know what it is, I can teach my partner, a man, to do that. Which I think is helpful, right? To understand your own sexual pleasure and to understand what your physical responses are. That's really helpful. And Mary's so far from that. I'll point out that the New Year's Eve sign that is on the wall in the kitchen says, if you're not happy, don't tell anyone. Which sounds exactly like Mary. I feel like that is the mantra that Mary carries with her throughout the entire series. We have one example, at least, of a woman exploring sexual pleasure. Yes, it's in a dream, but we need that example. And in the 1970s, I don't know if it was really a thought. Or rather, it was a thought that was just being talked about. And then Pat and Philip show up to show us the outcome of that fight yesterday, which thankfully was not fatal, but humiliating and depressing and horrible. Garth has ripped up all of Pat's clothing and turned the hose on her and locked her out of the house. To be honest, I think being locked out of that house is an improvement. I think getting her as far away from Garth as possible is the move. Oh, earlier in the scene, Wanda brought up the phrase chauvinism, which I think went out of fashion. I don't hear that phrase except for in old TV, but I think perhaps we would call that sexism or being patriarchal nowadays. I don't know what happened to that phrase or why people don't use it. Maybe in the 1980s, saying words like that was the equivalent of being woke today, and there was probably a campaign against it to say, let's not use this word anymore. But then we replaced it with other words. So the intent is still there. These impressions, these feelings that people have about the way that the system gets on you, that's still there, even if the language has changed. So in the 1970s, we had one blanket term, male chauvinist pig. That was the phrase. And that went away. I think the 1980s kind of was an interesting time. can't speak to the specifics of why that phrase went away, but other than, people don't use the word chauvinist anymore, but sexism seems to be one thing. Sexism covers a more general idea, and chauvinism is specifically men thinking they're better than women, I think. So tell me what you think about that shift in language, and if where we are today is the same or better or worse in terms of how we talk about it. In any case, Mary and Wanda have talked about their sex, and maybe Mary has some questions, and Patty and Philip are probably going to be staying with the Hartmans. Then Mary visits Martha and finds that there's shouting in the other room because that's the deprogramming. Apparently, George is so peaceful now and tranquil that returning to his old irascible self is a struggle. Montgomery Monk shows the satirical side, which is maybe something I hadn't considered. If George is feeling peaceful, why change him? Other than that he doesn't want to be with Martha anymore, which I can understand Martha wanting to hold on to him. On the other hand, if he doesn't want to be held on to, you gotta let him go. But that little speech at the end from Montgomery Monk, if we were all feeling peaceful, what would we do? I think we should all feel peaceful, though. That's just me. However, those are not the feelings that people feel at that New Year's Eve party, where we take a survey of everyone around. Patty is depressed and Charlie is missing Loretta. He doesn't even know what's going on with Lulu. Kathy is disgusted at being pregnant, and Martha is distressed and injured. And Annie is leaving town to visit her son for a couple of weeks, perhaps. But maybe longer. And Tom, he comes in drunk. And we know that's been bad news for him, but he got fired from the RV lot. And Mary doesn't know what to think or do or say. And everyone, that was our New Year's Eve episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Thank you for leaving your thoughts and feelings in the comments. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for getting your new calendars ready. We will see you next year in Fernwood.